Hi everyone, it's Dan here. Welcome to the School of Light and an episode of Smith Tries Stuff. And today we are trying something that is in this box, which is very exciting. And the reason that I wanted to show you that it's in this box is because it's so bloody compact. And in here are the new Hobolite Avant Max and Avant Max Mini. Now you would have or may have seen my review of this, the Hobolite Iris, and Hobolite sent me these to have a play with, and I'm bloody glad they did. So yeah, let's dive into it. In this video we are going to be having a look at how I made this image, which was up in the forest with a band using one of these upper 5-meter light stand. And we're going to have a bit of a look at these images, which are both very personal and very exciting. Now I've made some notes because I'm not really interested in getting into a deep dive in specs and unboxing videos and all that. I want to do what the whole idea of this channel is, and that is just get out and make some work and show you how that happens. I'm not going to get into specs too much, apart from telling you that this is an 80-watt light and this is a 40-watt light. So it's half as powerful, but as you're about to learn, that's not all that important. There are all sorts of combinations of wattage and lumens. I just want to go out and make sure that the light works and make images with it. Yes, bright lights are important. There is a very big 5-foot softbox here, and a great time for me to mention that I have a video production company, so lighting things with big powerful lights is my gig. The light that is here is a Godox 150-watt light. I set up interview spaces regularly, so I know a bit about this stuff. And the big thing about these things is that they are battery powered. This light here and most lights that you see, you plug a cable into it and they're powered. And that is why it's been a little tricky for me to sort of talk about price with these things and say to you whether they're expensive or not. Because I did have a look around to see at other battery powered video lights. By the nature of them being battery powered, they're kind of gonna be at a different price point to a similarly powered light that's not. However, I reckon the important thing about these lights is stuff that is not really related to that. And that is this thing. These are like the little Iris where we have the magnetic attachment and not. These are the same. So these have, they come with a couple of different, so this one comes with this sort of interesting focusable lens, and this thing is witchcraft. It does this sort of crazy sort of doubling the power of the light thing. Basically it focuses the light, which is amazing. But they are this wild modular system. So I've just removed that, and watch this. So magnetic, it's got these barn doors, which I used a lot. Magnetic, you can stack these things, so you can have these barn doors with a grid that's stuck in there, and you can pop that on there because it's magnetic. I'm not going to beat about that. You're going to see in a minute how I use those things. But the fact that these are modular and magnetic and easy to use is a big thing and something I really love about them. Here's another thing. This is a Bowens mount adapter. This is a mini Bowens mount. This clips on here. The amazing thing is this is made of metal, right? Which is, for me, when I'm banging lights off and on all the time, and I'm, diffuse softboxes and stuff, the way something is built matters. Strong, metallic. When you disconnect parts off them, they are built well. A good example of that is this. So the way that you get these onto a light stand is they have this sort of V-lock mount on the bottom. That clips into there, and then that goes into a light stand. Now these are metal, and here's a little test I did. I was a bit dubious of this part here, which is where we loosen it and adjust the angle of it, right? I did this thing where I put this 5-foot octa on it, and I just nipped this up. I don't know what witchcraft is going on in here, but it just doesn't move. Anyway, they are built super, super solid. I'm not going to get into that too much. Right? Here's the other thing. The battery is wild. I put this thing up on a light stand at full power, reared into the forest in the image that we're going to look at, and it didn't run out of power. I did a shoot. The shoot I did, we'll call it in the crazy room. I was running these at 5 and 10%. They lasted for 2 days off and on. So as far as build quality goes, this is all metal. It's exceptional. There is no other way to put it. So how do they come? Well, they come as a standard kit. I think it's like $1,400 for the big one and $1,200 for the little one, and then the price goes up when you put the kit on. It'll vary in different countries. Here's the kicker. It felt great using them. If what you're after is an 80 watt light that is cheap, there's a bunch of that on the market. These obviously sit in a different place. I didn't pay for them. Hobolite sent them to me, but what I can tell you is this: I like nice stuff. I've got really nice tripods. I have really nice soft boxes. I have nice stuff. And it makes a bloody difference, right? If you are using something that feels good to use, I reckon. Anyway, here's another thing that comes with it. This is a little, that you can get, this is a power bank, and the power bank screws into the bottom of here, and you connect it to it and you can power it. Important that I mention, this color is not available in Australia, apparently. This was great, saved my bacon one night. We're going to delve into that in more detail when I get back from Europe in a few weeks and we have a play. Now, just in the last few days, Hobolite have launched this huge new array of accessories, snoots, softboxes. I think there was like a beauty dish looking thing. They look fantastic. Okay, so there are lots of very cool ways to modify the way the light is coming out of these things. Let's talk about connectivity. I hate apps. They give me the absolute shits. The Hobolite app is wild. I'll give you an example. When we were in the forest, I had this 5 meters up and I was way off in the distance. And I had 3 guys in the forest and I'm trying to light paint. It's getting dark quick and I'm trying to work things out. I didn't want the battery to die because I knew we were going to be there for a while. I just had the app and I would just turn the power all the way to 0. And then when I was ready to go, I'd just dial it up, and every single time it connected. Full adjustability, long way away. I'm not a quantity surveyor, maybe 30 meters away. Doesn't matter. Couple of other amazing things. This is an 80 watt light. I really don't know what that means in lumens or whatever, but it's bloody bright. But it has this thing. This is this weird focusing lens thing that you put on it, and it does this absolute witchcraft where it kind of focuses the light and it makes it what appeared to me to be this insane amount of extra brightness. When I get back and I do the long form review of these, we're going to the forest. And I'm going to test that to the max. We're going big time there. All right, let's dive into these 2 shoots I did, because that will allow us to cover off a bunch of stuff. I did 2 shoots with these lights that I think are going to just explain a little bit about how they work. And the reason I wanted to do this nice and quick before I go away is while it's fresh in my mind. The first thing we did is I went to the forest with some good friends of mine. They have a band called The Only Objects, and we did some walking around the forest and we did some shoots. And then when it got dark, I wanted to make a light painting portrait. We found a spot. I went out into the forest. I put a light stand up. I put the max on. I took the grid off and I just put the red diffuser straight over the cob, and then I put it 5 meters up, pointed it kind of in my direction and turned it on. It was still light when I put it up there, and then I could just go and set up, and then like I say, I just turned the app on, fired it up, and it was on full power. It gave me this wild red light from behind while I was doing and mucking around with the light painting, and then I had the smaller one over to the side on a light stand giving me a bit of fill light on the trees. Gorgeous. Absolutely could not fault these things. The battery lasted, it stayed on, it stayed connected, and it was light enough to go up a reasonably fiddly light stand. I just stuck a log of wood onto the light stand so I didn't have to carry a weight bag all the way into the forest. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. The next thing I did is I have a project coming up where it's very personal. I had an idea many years ago that I realized in a disused insane asylum, and the idea was using a constant light, and then I move under the constant light in order to make this image. And that image sat with me for many, many, many years. I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. When these lights were sent to me, I thought, what a perfect opportunity to have a play. So what I did is I set up the studio. My friend Ollie was here. We were here in the studio. So I put the barn doors with the grid on it. And what the grid does is it focuses the light. And what I wanted to do is have this sort of beam of light coming down into the studio with the black wall behind, and then I'm in the light moving around. So we set that up, and you focus the light with the barn doors like this. So it just had this beam coming out, and then I set up the cameras and I just started making a few images, and straight away I got this sort of feeling that it was working, the idea was good. I'll show you an image now that came up that just still, when I look at it, it kind of represents the entire idea of a project I'm starting up for this year. And it worked. And so as soon as that happened and I had these lights with me, I thought, that's it. I'm off down to my friend Phil's place, and I'm just going to sit down. He made this room available to me that I thought would be perfect for the project. We had made an image in there with him before, and I decided I was going to go in there and explore this idea some more. So I took a whole lot of gear up. It's complicated. It's a 150-year-old building with a very sketchy staircase. I carried all my gear up, took the hobo lights up, took a few light stands, and fundamentally what I decided to do was recreate what we did in the studio above this bed that is there. Because these are so lightweight, I powered it with the battery. I stuck it up on this light stand, got the light nice and focused on the bed. Then I got the Mini and I put that just sitting on the ground with the orange diffuser on it. So that just sat on the ground, sort of filling the light behind. And then here's what I did is I got out the Iris with this mad lens on it. Oh, what's it called? It's called the Magic Lens. And this thing, I'll turn it on so you can see, it gives this amazing textured light. And what I did is I got that and I put it on the foreground. So the first night was great, and then I went back the second night with my friends, Ollie and Lotte, and we went up there, and that was incredible. I made some portraits with Lotte, which were quite amazing. I had the lights in the room, so I think I had the orange one on the ground, and what I did is I sat her on the bed and I scanned her with the scanner, and then I lifted her off the bed and I did some light painting, and that gave us this effect of her being a ghost, which is kind of suited the room. Then as we were kind of easing into the night, as I was getting myself ready for something I knew was going to be quite personal, the other thing we did is we took the Mini down this hallway into this really moody stairwell. Lotte had the idea of there was this globe there, and so we put it up there with the barn doors on to give us this focus light in the stairwell, and then they were just making some stills. It just, I mean, that reminds me that sometimes you don't need strobe, right? You can make beautiful portraits and stuff with continuous light these days, all battery powered up on the light. And then we went back into the room and I got ready to make my work. And I just want to say, as you're about to see, this was very, very personal work. It's a very emotive thing for me to be doing, and how beautiful it was to have my very good close friends there and feel safe to have them in the space with me. It was beautiful. I set up the lights from the night before, the focused light. I changed the way I had, mixed around where the iris was and where the backlight was, but fundamentally I got into it. And they were 2-second exposures at like ISO 100, and these lights were on minimum. I think one was on 5% and one was on 4%, but again, I was able to use the app and just turn these things off and on and experiment, Because traditionally what you'd have to do is you'd have to grab these lights, bring the light stand down, make your adjustment, put it back up, have a test or whatever. So that was great. So that was a really successful night. That is a project that I am building on and exploring this year, but I thought it'd be really nice for you to have a snapshot of that. Then I went back and I was so wrecked. I just left the gear there and I went back to pick the gear up and I thought I'd have another little play. And here's where I had a bit of fun. So I made these images here. And what I did was because I'm in the scene doing the light painting, right? I didn't want to be seen in the images. So what I did is I put the Max up with a red diffuser, and then I went outside and I put the Mini on a C stand and focused the light on a window. There was this window there and it had some sort of bars, and so I focused the light on the window using the barn doors and the lenses. And then I went inside, and what I did is I had the app and I started the exposure. The app has this cool thing where it has 25, 50, 75%. And you can just hit it and it just turns on. So I just hit 75% on both of them, counted for 10 seconds, and then turned them off, and then went into the scene to do the light painting. And then went through that process 5 or 6 times, adjusting, changing, moving them around. So I've been looking forward to telling you about this. I had the Max, I had the big one, the Avant Max, up there with the red gel on it. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to change the room light to white. So I got the white diffuser and I put it on there and I put it up on the stand. And here's the thing. I had this on 1% and I turned it on and I could not get it on and off fast enough that it was too bright in the room. And I was like, oh man. So I have to close my aperture down, change my light painting tool. So what I did is I took this down and took this outside and put that up for the bright light coming in, and I put the iris up the top, because what I figured, obviously this is a lot dimmer, but here's the thing, this wild texture that these have, I figured, oh man, this is going to be beautiful on the wall. So I put the iris up on the light stand, connected them all via the app, and I'm standing there behind the tripod with the cameras on it, turning the lights on, counting my 10 seconds, whatever, turn them off, go in and do the light painting, and it was gorgeous. The texture that this thing spread around the room was wild. There you go. So I think that's it. What else? I mean, look, there's a lot in this box. I think it's all just, the amazing thing is that all of this power fits in this little box. These are really lightweight. You can take the battery off and put this AC adapter, and then you connect the AC to this, which is amazing. The thing about the batteries is I found them they charged really quick. And the neat thing is, on the top here, there's all sorts of USB-C, and I think this thing's called a D-tap. There's so many different ways to get power in, and you can use this as a battery, I think. I think I read that somewhere. But yeah, look, I'm going to do a deep dive on these when I get back from Europe. But what I can tell you is this. These lights are very, very, very nice to use. They are lightweight. They are super adaptable. The light quality is gorgeous. The app works. They're beautiful to use. Everything is built like a brick shit house, which I love because I'm a bit rough with gear. That was a first look. When I get back from Europe, I'm going hardcore on these. We're going out to the forest. I've got some ideas around the water for a new series I'm working on. The thing to think about though is this. They are amazing in the hand. They are built beautifully. The creative kit is called the creative kit just for that reason. For someone like me that wants to go out and mess around with color, texture, and shape, having all of these components that are attached to these lights is really good. Then there you go. Not really a lot else to tell, really. Heading to Scotland, hang out with my mate Dave Gilliver and a few other legends down south. And when I get back, we're going to be taking these things out into the wild. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I enjoyed making it, that's for sure. And the new images that you saw there are very personal to me. I'm working on that idea a lot this year. I'm teaching at a workshop at the Bright Festival of Photography, and then I'm taking it into my own work, and we're going to make some really fun stuff. I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming by the School of Light. I hope you had fun. Peace.